here I am, in the place to be, Mr. K&B, you fuck with me, extra sexy, extraordinary, palms are hairy, your mama pop my cherry. What up, y'all? It's K&B, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the Sexy Ninjacast podcast for that ass, and we're gonna do something in the next 8 weeks that I'm very excited about. I am breaking down lanterns as we go, and it got me, you know what? What's the one thing Kyle loves to talk about? And that's Star Wars. And as you can see here on the thumbnail and everything, I'm going back into Ahsoka. After that season 2 trailer, it got my blood boiling. I'm just like, I cannot wait. Thrawn, we got actual war going on in Star Wars, more Anakin, Clone War based stuff. So I was just like, you know what? I need to refresh Ahsoka in my brain. And I wanted to jump on this one, Master and Apprentice, this episode right here, the first episode, to kick off, and directed by Dave Feloni, Mr. Feloni. And going back and watching this episode, like, if you don't do your homework, it's a good jumping point, but there's a lot of baggage that comes to this show, and that baggage is Rebels. If you don't know what happened in Rebels, you're kind of like, oh, who's this Ezra guy? Who's Sabine? Why do we give a crap about these guys? We know Ahsoka, we know her for the Clone Wars, and there's some people that didn't watch Rebels, but overall, I really did enjoy this first episode. I love Shin. I love Baylan Skoll. May Rey rest in peace. They say for our friend and pal. And you got all this going on. We were introduced to Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. And that's where she takes Morgan, into custody for the New Republic and everything. So this starts off right when she's being Morgan is being transferred to be on trial with the New Republic and everything. But, Baylan Skoll, he comes in, and he and Shin, his apprentice, they rescue her. And Miss Morgan, yes, Madam Morgan, he has such that way about him, and I love when the captain's like, oh, that's Jedi codes? What the hell? That can't be. I'm gonna call their bluff. He comes in, and they're like, identification for you, and then he's like, Balin's like, I'll show you my identification. Ha! Lightsaber, death, red, blah, blah, and I just like, he's like, and you all right? We are no Jedi, and I'm like, oh man. This guy's really setting the tone of this character, and I really like, I'm very interested to see how the character continues on since Rey passed, And so once we get into it, Morgan tells him, like, hey, Ahsoka is looking for the map. I told her where the map is, and that's where we get to Ahsoka, because she knows that Thrawn is out there. And if Thrawn's out there, Ezra's out there. Because the last time we saw these two was in the battle with Ezra, and in the battle of Rebels and everything like that. And we were like, oh, Ezra's gone, no, And so everyone kind of just split up at this point. And as she's going for this map, it's always puzzles like that, everything has the turn, and there's a little like thing that points to a thing, it's kind of like in Rise of Skywalker with that dagger, that has the remnants of the Death Star reckoning, and it's like, oh, nope, it's right there is where I need to go, get my Sith Wayfinder, but yeah, everything's a puzzle, and she gets the map, and of course, some droids come after her, and she takes them out badass, because Ahsoka's just a badass. And she takes it, and she's like, all right, Hu Yang, and I forgot how much I love him. I love that droid so much, He's old, he's ancient, he has all this wisdom behind him. I have a pop figure of him somewhere, but I couldn't find him, because I have a bazillion figures. But yeah, I really do enjoy that character. So they get the map. And then they get like, hey, Hera calls them, is like, we got some problems, these two, not Jedi took Morgan and they split. And so as they reunite, and it's kind of cool just because I love Rebels. And seeing these characters in live action interact with each other, and it's just like, oh, that's so cool. And she's like, here we got the map to Thrawn. And she's like, okay. She goes, but we can't open it. Oh no, why? There's a key. Oh, so bring in Sabine. She's back home, and Mrs. Ezra. She's a little bit of a misfit and whatnot, and she misses a ceremony that's celebrating the rebels themselves, and that beautiful mural in the back and everything, and riding her speeder, and the authority's like, you gotta stop, and she's like, no, watch this, being a misfit, true at heart, and I love her hair, but she's at Ezra's place, and she watches his last communication saying like, hey, I had to make a choice. This is what Jedi do, and I have to stop Thrawn. This is what I have to do. I'm sorry, and may the Force be with you. And she just misses Ezra. So, in this, Hera tells Ahsoka, like, that thing can be solved if you have Sabine. She helps you. And so Ahsoka shows up and then gives her the thing, and of course, a little bit of back and forth, like, hey, you left me, and what's funny is it's just a dynamic that I'm just like, okay, I want to see, like, this is what I don't know what I'm trying to say, like, I love the dynamic between these two. Like, you left me, and you ran away, that these two are trying to meet in the middle. And, Sabine's so defiant against Ahsoka, and Ahsoka tells her, like, do not take the map out of the ship. You can look at it, you can figure it out and everything. And she's like, well, I want to go clear my head and I want to take this map. And she's like, no. And what happens? Sabine takes the map back to her place to go look at it, because she wants her own headspace and everything. And I love that Hu Yang, he shows the lightsabers, and he's like, this is Baylan Skull, this guy. He left around the Clone Wars, so it's just like, what has he been up to this entire time? There's a higher purpose. And in the trailer for season 2, Anakin says Baylan, he knows there's something out there that can stop all wars. I didn't know that was a possibility, but yeah, there's something out there. There's always a secret and a mystery going on these days in Star Wars. And what I love about Sabine, she's like looking at this thing, she's tearing it down and whatnot. There's a little ball, and guess what? It's in a Rubik's Cube. Then it opens up, shows the map, and it's like, oh, Ezra's there, but Thrawn is there as well. It's always a map, always something. It just reminded me of Force Awakens when they're like, we got a map to Luke Skywalker. It's just like, well, who made that map? Like, who intentionally made this map, and it could be the Night Sisters that made this thing, and I think that's what Morgan says in the dialogue, when they go show up. But man, I love in the starting when Ahsoka fights those droids, and those droids are like self-destruct. I mean, that was an explosion. It was like, and during that, when they're in the rubble, Shin and Baylan, Morgan tells Shin, you need to go get Sabine, and Baylan's like, listen to her, she just listen to her, go get her. She has the map, so you're on your quest, Shin. And Shin has this mysterious thing going on, and I want to know more about her, so that's why I'm so excited about season 2. We're going to get to know these characters a little bit more, and and then Shin goes after, she takes a couple droids, they get the map, and I love that Sabine grabs her lightsaber, and she goes and tries to battle Shin. She puts up a good fight for the most part, especially against an apprentice, and I was kind of like, all right. And as this is going on, Hera and Ahsoka are having a conversation, talking about, maybe you should bring her on as your apprentice. And she's like, I don't do that. And she's like, well, maybe your master thought you were a pain in the ass too, Ahsoka. And she's like, well, I never finished my training because I walked away from the Jedi Order, and it was a big deal when she walked away. So she was never fully trained in the Jedi art, and they're claiming her as a Jedi in this show, which is kind of like, well, yeah, And what is that title? What is that rank? You know, it's like when Anakin couldn't get the rank of master, but you can sit on the council with us, but you ain't master. You know, and it's all these things. Is like, is there a secret handshake we need to do here to become a Jedi? You know, or be considered a Jedi? You know, and the Jedi at that point, especially during the prequel era, they were so like, no, and this and that, and, you know, driving Anakin to the dark side. And, like, they did it to themselves, even though the prophecy and the one and whatnot. And I can't wait till we get to the episodes in the show where we get Clone Wars Anakin and we get that era and a little Ahsoka. I'm just excited. I'm just excited, especially season 2 being around the corner in January. So we have enough time to do these podcasts and do these shows and talk about Ahsoka. So, and as they're battling, you know, Sabine, before they got into the lightsaber battles, calls Hu Yang and says, "Hey, I need backup." Hu Yang interrupts Hera, and Ahsoka's like, "We have some problems." And I love that as they're going and they're headed to where Sabine's at, she's fighting Shin, and Ahsoka's like, "All right, lower the ship. I'm going to go." And she's not wearing her robe, but clearly, as she's going, she grabs her robe. I'm like, "What do you need your robe for?" Like, you can clearly see her running with her robe on, and Sabine, Shin, battle, you know, and Shin gets the best of Sabine and stabs her in the gut. And I remember how this was a huge thing. Like, she ain't gonna die. How many people have been stabbed in the gut and died? You know, nope, not Sabine, because she needs to be on this journey with Ahsoka. And that's the way the show ends. And we say thank you to Rey. And directed by Dave Feloni. So now we are on the horizon of trying to find Thrawn, trying to find Ezra, and I'm glad that I am doing this journey, you know, with y'all within the weeks here, and doing it with the Lanterns, and it just made me feel good inside just to get back into this show, and I just been wanting to, you know, and the cast alone and is amazing. You know, Rosario Dawson and, you know, Natasha, Mary, Ray, Ivana, Diana, David, E-Man, even, you know, you got and Hayden Christensen looking great in Clone Wars era, you know, so it's definitely like you have to do your homework. You know, Master and Apprentice is his first episode. It was directed by Dave Filoni, written by Dave Filoni, released August 22nd, 2023. So, in 2027, you know, after a while, we're finally going to get back into the world of Ahsoka. And I just kind of want to know, like, where has Ahsoka been? You know, especially during the OT era. Like, where has she been? Like, you know, and there's really a lot of great memes out there, especially with Rosario Dawson, like, in her trailer, waiting to go shoot anything. And she's on her phone, and it's like, you know, the memes of her, like, during the original trilogy era. But I hope we explore that more in season 2. And I hope I pick up on some more things. The next episode is part 2, Toil and Trouble. Let's see. Steph Green is directing, and it's written by Dave Filoni. So I'm very excited to jump into that. Yeah. So, Baylan Skull, man. God, man, Ray Stevenson, may you rest in peace. But yeah, this was part 1, Master and Apprentice. Yeah, and I'm excited to see what we do here and just go on this journey. I want Hu Yang to be explored more in season 2. And I like the fact that, you know, these episodes are nice and tight. And I gotta say, I didn't notice it the first time around because I listened to Rebel Force Radio. But Ahsoka really crosses her arms a lot. And I'm trying not to let it get to me. It was something they pointed out. And now that I'm seeing it, I'm just like, ah. But overall, I give this episode a solid out of 10. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. It was a lot better than I remember. You know, and I like the fact that we know that Zeb's out there, you know, and I just got done watching the special features for The Mandalorian and Grogu. It made me appreciate that movie a lot more, especially with the stop motion, those big droids that are guarding the huts and everything that took like 18 months to shoot, you know, just to get it right. And the green screen, like the putting Mando in it to fight them and, you know, Grogu climbing inside. Like, that's just crazy. Like, the love that was put into The Mandalorian and Grogu makes me love that movie a lot more. Like, even though in that movie I was like, where is Ahsoka? Where's Sabine? Where's Hera? We got Zeb. We got one of them. It's just like, where is everybody? And that's what I think I really wanted to do the rewatch for, because there was a promise of like their own Avengers movie, with the Mandalorian and Grogu and Ahsoka, you're bringing in the Rebels cast here. There was, you got Thrawn, that was going to be the big bad entity that's out there. That's the Thanos and whatnot. So I think those plans have been abandoned. We got Star Wars Starfighter coming up. I did see the trailer for that, and I'm excited. I love the logo. I love Ryan Gosling. I think he's going to be a really, really cool character to jump into. And I know, hold on, drop. They released his name too, which I thought was interesting. Let's see, Starfighter, Star Wars, Ryan. Oh, spelled it wrong. He is Cade Aburon. But that's directed by Sean Levy. That comes out next year, May 28, 2027. The 50-year anniversary of Star Wars. And they're re-releasing Star Wars the way it was meant to be seen, putting it back into theaters. I'm so excited about that. I really wish I could have gone to Star Wars Celebration, but that shit sold out like that. But yeah, Ahsoka, 8 out of 10 for this first episode, Master and Apprentice. I'm ready to retake this journey with y'all. But that's it. That's all. And like and subscribe, share it with your grandma, share the bum down at Walmart, and remember to stay sexy, ninjas. Woo woo!
You're right about one thing, Captain. We are no Jedi.